Hello everyone and welcome to this spotlight presentation. I am here today to discuss an important topic that is top of mind for many drug makers. How do you successfully launch a pharmaceutical product in the US market today? The answer, it's clear, is not solely about having strong clinical trial outcomes. The current environment is much more complex, and in this new reality, pharma companies must learn to skillfully balance to sometimes conflicting objectives, maximizing pricing to reflect the true innovation and clinical value of their therapy, or expanding access and reimbursement by demonstrating the cost-effectiveness and real-world impact of their treatment. In fact, I would argue that the most successful companies are those that can master this balancing act. Pharmaceutical stakeholders, payers, pharmacy benefit managers, or PBMs, and regulators are increasingly vigilant, demanding more evidence than ever that new therapies are not only effective but also economically justified. This pressure has driven the adoption of mechanisms such as prior authorizations, step therapy, and formulary management, which serve to control access to and the cost of prescription drugs. The challenge for biopharma is significant. Overpricing a product will undoubtedly lead to resistance from payers, limited formulary coverage, and ultimately reduced patient adoption. But pricing too low could set an unfavorable benchmark for the product's value and potentially undermine its long-term commercial potential. So what's the solution? Well, the most successful companies have found ways to address these challenges head-on. They do this by proactively generating real-world evidence to support the value of their products, forging strong partnerships with payers early on, and creating compelling value narratives that resonate with the evolving needs and priorities of the health economic community. Let's take a closer look at several standout examples. Novartis, for instance, launched Entresto to compete in a crowded space where treatments for heart failure were dominated by generics. Despite the availability of cheaper alternatives, Novartis chose to price Entresto at a premium. However, they simultaneously invested in real-world evidence to demonstrate that Entresto could reduce long-term healthcare expenditures despite its high upfront cost. This approach paid off, gaining widespread payer coverage and establishing Entresto as a blockbuster therapy. Another great example is Vertex Pharmaceuticals and its cystic fibrosis portfolio, including Trikafta. For a rare, genetically defined patient population living with cystic fibrosis, Vertex demonstrated highly significant and life-changing outcomes. The clinical impact was so compelling that access barriers were minimal and uptake was swift, leading to broad adoption. Gilead Sciences also faced significant scrutiny when it launched Sovaldi at a list price of $84,000 for a 12-week cure. Despite the high price tag, Gilead positioned Sovaldi as a curative intervention rather than an ongoing treatment for a chronic illness. This reframing of the value proposition led to over $10 billion in sales within the first year, underscoring how a one-time cure can sometimes outperform a long-term therapy. Pfizer and BioNTech's launch of their COVID-19 vaccine, Comirnaty, is also worth noting. During a time of global health crisis, they prioritized widespread no-cost distribution through government programs, demonstrating a commitment to public health goals. Later, the transition to commercial pricing tied to health economic models. This phased approach led to Comirnaty achieving dominant market share while also aligning with public health priorities. In conclusion, successfully navigating the current U.S. drug launch landscape requires a nuanced understanding of pricing power and payer expectations. While maximizing pricing is essential, it must be balanced with the need to demonstrate value to payers and other stakeholders. By embracing a proactive approach, engaging with stakeholders, generating real-world evidence, and telling a compelling value story, biopharmaceutical companies can achieve both broad access and strong financial returns. Thank you for listening.